Hey, my friends. Big welcome to 90 Day U-Turn Week 1. Yay! The crowd goes wild. My name is Denise, and I am so stinking honored that you are here. Before we jump into this week's material, I just want to say big kudos to you. Give yourself a pat on the back. I heard from several of you that said that you've been praying for something, praying for your next step. I heard from several of you that you were even praying for the payment and the cost and money kind of came into your life exactly when you needed it. Most of you said, I need something. And that's exactly why you are here, because you know you're created for more than the ho hum zombie filled life, like just barely getting by. You have gifts, you have skills that the world needs, and it's time to unlock them so you can truly thrive in all areas of life. So, as you know, this is a 12-week course. And so each and every week, I'm going to give you a piece of that puzzle to help you unlock, gain clarity, release some onion layers so you can step into your full blown purpose. And so some weeks may make more sense to you than others. Some weeks may maybe connect with you a bit more than others, but just know that they all are taking you in a very powerful direction. All of the exercises and trainings I am giving you, I have done myself. And it has what allowed me to break through my own personal glass ceiling and achieve success in multiple areas of my life. So, with that being said, let's dive right in because I'm getting into stuff I'm about to share. So, again, welcome to 90 Day U Turn. Get ready for a mindset reset. Over the next 90 days, you guys, we are going to reconnect with your life purpose and your personal strengths. Several of you have different goals. Your goals are either health related, relationship related, business related, job related, whatever it is. One of the keys to experiencing peace and thriving in all of areas of life is having that connection with who you were created to be. So we're going to connect you with that life purpose. We're going to break through any limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors. Yes, we are going to rewrite your stories. We are going to heal through hurts and respond with forgiveness. And this is probably the most powerful sessions throughout our time together, and where you're going to feel the most like saying onion layers. We're going to like release some of those onion layers so you really feel free. We are going to learn how to actually achieve your goals without feeling overwhelmed, lost, or frustrated. Amen. A lot of you have said, I don't even know where to start. I have so much I want to change. I don't even know where to begin. And so we're going to simplify the goal setting process. And I say that we're doing all of this in layers because we're kind of doing it at the same time while we move through the program. So this is my family. If you don't know me quite yet, this is my family. My husband and I have been married about 16 years. I have two little boys, Owen and Eli, who are ages 10 and 7 as of now. And I can tell you, we were shocked when they both had bright red hair. I expected my children to look like Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. And when Owen came out with red hair, we thought, like, I put strawberry blonde in his baby book, and we actually had to do IVF for both of our boys. And so when he came out with red hair, I thought, did they get him switched with another person in the, like another embryo in the waiting room? Like, oh gosh. But then Eli, of course, and I actually heard that has happened to people sometimes, and I thought that was no longer a funny joke. But then Eli came out with red hair too, and we thought, okay, these are just very strong recessive Irish genes. We'll take it. And now they are so proud of their red hair. In fact, we've gone to a red hair festival in Chicago. I have dreams of going to a red hair festival in Ireland. And they like to tell people they're going extinct. Yeah. One thing that's kind of cool about our boys as well is that we became entrepreneurs and were able to quit our full-time jobs before they were born. And so they've only known us as being work from home parents, which is just a pretty special, cool thing, you know? I don't know. I'll tell you more about that later. But here's some things that I've done over the past few years. I've been an entrepreneur for over 14, 15 years. I'll tell you a bit about what I did before that in just a minute. But as I grew in my business, I realized that not everybody wants to join a business, but everybody needs this information I was learning. And so I decided to write books and journals to really give people a place to learn and grow. That's my psychology background for you. I've done fitness competitions. I'm worked with Jack Canfield and John Maxwell. I am a certified freedom from self-sabotage coach, been in magazines and all that kind of stuff. And so I tell you this really not to impress you, but just to impress upon you that when you know these skills, you can experience success in all aspects of your life. And the things that I have done are really because it's the fruit of all of the things I'm about to teach you. But before I got into entrepreneurship and building businesses and things like that, I was a psychologist. And I got into the field of psychology, I believe, because of my camp experience. For several summers throughout my college years, for 4 summers in a row, I was a camp counselor. So 2 summers, I was in Asheville, North Carolina, and did home repair. In fact, they called me Diesel, Denise Diesel. And I actually had muscle back then, I guess. And I would carry shingles up the ladder to like roof houses and things. And we would do painting and drywall and all that kind of stuff. And I loved it, but I decided it was a bit too much like a physical labor job. And I really just wanted to love people. And so I asked for another camp. Like I prayed and I said, all right, what's next? What's next? And I got an email for a camp in New York City that said, our job is to love children, like love foster kids. And I thought, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. And so the first summer I was a lifeguard, and then I was a camp counselor for the second summer. And it was here that I fell in love with the idea of psychology, because what I found at camp was that these kids came to camp feeling lost, broken, unworthy. You know, they came with their head down and their guard up, and they really just didn't know how awesome they were. To be honest, they really didn't. And I, like, what was I, 19 years old, full of life, full of love, full of energy. I got to know these kids and I saw a transformation in them when they came shy and embarrassed and insecure, and they left bold and confident. Often, you guys, they would come for a week and then go back home for 2 days and come back for weeks. We got to know them quite a bit, and I got to see them blossom. And I thought, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. My job is to love people where they're at, but see them 3 steps ahead of where they are. And I felt like at camp, I really got to pour that belief into these kids. And because of that, I saw them thrive. You guys, I was sparked. I was like, this is what I am supposed to do. A spark is when your soul is set on fire. When time goes by so fast, you're in the zone. You know what I mean? Like when you know that this is what you are supposed to do. You feel so connected to your action that you could do it all day long. That is how I felt at camp. I want to hear from you. In your workbook, ask yourself, when was a time that I felt sparked? When was a time that you felt like time was going by so fast? When you loved what you were doing, you felt like you were in your zone of genius and you could do it all day long. I can tell you guys, when you feel that spark, you never want it to go away. And it's our job to fan that flame. And that is what I have worked to do in my life ever since. Because once you feel sparked, you know what it's like to feel dead inside, right? And you're like, I don't want to be there anymore. I want to get back to that spark. All right, so we are going to jump into some content here, and I want you to make sure you have your pen, your workbook, turn off your cell phone. This is a slot in your calendar to go through this training, go through this workbook, and really give yourself the space to learn and go through the exercises. Ask yourself, not only when were you sparked, like when in the past did you feel that, but why are you here today? Why are you here today? Why did you say yes to this program? What are you looking to get out of it? As we're going to learn over these weeks, we are going to begin with the end in mind, because if you know why you're here, you will have the eyes to see that answer throughout our weeks together. We want to be intentional, right? We're not just going to fly by the seat of our pants. I want you to know exactly what you're looking for, because then I know you will absolutely find it. So write this down in your workbook as well. Ooh, this is a fun one. Okay, so what is the missing letter in this pattern? I'm going to give you just a second. What is the missing letter in this pattern? What's funny about this is that when you do take a look, at first glance, it looks like a jumbled mess. But what if I told you the pattern is January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Now you can see the letters differently. You see them as a pattern. And now that you know this pattern, what is the missing letter in this pattern? This bunch of letters. Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My guess is because you knew the pattern here, you were able to guess it much more quickly here. Is that right? That's kind of what I'm going to teach you throughout these next 12 weeks. I am going to give you life's combination lock. Do you guys remember in middle school where you had to go at first you're to the right, to the left, to the right, I don't know. And then if you forgot, you'd have to go to the office and ask what your code is. Oh my gosh. But by senior year, you knew. You didn't have to think about it anymore. You just would go up to your locker and twist the little knobs and open and off it went. That's what we're going to do over the next 12 weeks. I am going to give you life's combination. All of the skills that I'm going to teach you and share with you, the exercises that we will go through together are pieces to the puzzle of life's combination lock. And when you know the combination, you guys, when you understand how this life works, you are going to be able to apply these skills in all aspects of your life, and you are going to see the world differently. And the way that we're going to do this is like my framework. So if you've been at my trainings before, you may have heard some of this stuff before, but I also know it's the foundation for everything we're going to be talking about. My framework for teaching you how to, life's combination is called the Dream Life Pathway. And it's the head, heart, feet approach to your dreams. And if you ever feel out of whack, insecure, something's going on, you can ask yourself, where am I out of alignment? Head is all about clarity. What do I want? What do I want? Mindset. Am I focusing on what I want? Am I focusing on what's lacking, right? Heart is all about life purpose and emotionally connecting to what it is that you want. This is also where forgiveness comes in, because we cannot create if our emotions are 3 steps behind. And then feet is time management, skills, action, your calendar, priorities, things like that. And so you can always ask yourself, where am I out of whack? Is it that I don't really know what I want? Is it that I don't really believe it can happen? Or is that it's not on my calendar? And so of course we're not going to see change in an area. And what we're going to do throughout this time together is we are going to align the Dream Life Pathway. We are going to get so stinking clear on what you want next and focus on it, right? That's the mindset piece. We are going to emotionally connect with what it is you want next. So you're so stinking excited about it, right? Personal vision is when you see yourself 3 steps ahead of where you are today and you cannot wait to get up in the morning to go like create it. And then feet is all about action. And sometimes you need to learn skills, and sometimes you need to say no to stuff so you can say yes to your priorities. We're going to talk all about that throughout the next 12 weeks. All right, so a bit back to my story. I got out of a camp and I thought, you know what? This is what I'm supposed to do. I am so excited to work with people and to help cast that vision and cast that belief into their lives. And so I got my master's from Wheaton College in clinical psychology. And I was, off to change the world. I was so excited about this. I got my first job at a local community mental health. And for those that don't know, that's really just working for the government, mostly Medicaid and Medicare, non-insured clients, a lot of substance abuse. I mean, because it's for the government, you do a little bit of everything. You're overworked, underpaid. I led about 6 groups. I led anger management, depression. I led one with bipolar. I led a trauma group. I led the kids groups because I was 24 and, they were like, kids will like her. I did preteen and teen. I did home base, which meant I went to the people's homes and worked with them there. I did substance abuse stuff. And at first I was really, really excited about this position. But over the years, I realized, and I guess my eyes were open to the fact I was working in a broken system. It really didn't help the people it wanted to serve. I felt like it was a Band-Aid, you know what I mean? Like it was all about the paperwork, the policies, and the procedures than it truly was about people. And these big dreams, these big hopes that I had when I was getting started to shrink. And I started to think things like, well, I guess this is just my lot in life. I guess this is just my piece of the pie. I guess this is just adulting. And that spark that I had when I went into the field of psychology started to dim. And I had a choice to make, as do all of us, right? Do we stay in a place that I like to call here, or do we search again to find that spark? And so for about 5 years, I stayed here. Here is a place I like to say, this is not it. I don't want to be here anymore. Like, this is not filling my soul. This is not quite it. This is not, this isn't it. But oftentimes, even if we're restless with where we are now and we know that there's another path for us, we stay where we are because at least it's comfortable. I stayed in my job for 5 years because I thought, at least here I know the paperwork. Is the grass really greener on the other side? I don't know. And because I don't know, I'm going to stay. Now, what's interesting about this is that oftentimes here is where our coworkers live as well. They're not quite interested or engaged or loving their job. And so the conversation at the lunch table or, around the water cooler is complaining, blaming, excuse making, grouchiness, maybe drama filled, that kind of thing. Maybe there's a boredom that sets in where you're living for the weekends. You're just going through the motions and you're not really engaged with life. And what you find is that there's a group of people who live here and believe that this is normal. Okay. And so what we have to do each and every day, or when we get into this space ourselves, is to decide, is this really where we want to stay, or do we want to take a step in a new direction? So I want to ask you, let's imagine that you're here. Let's imagine that you're here. You don't love it. It's not really what you want to do. You're a zombie. Your soul is dying inside. Yet you stay here for decades because it's all you really understand. And honestly, that's what we're taught in school, is to get a job, stay there for 30 years, even though if we don't like it, and retire and then live our lives, right? So let's say you are here and you stay here for decades, never making a change, never mustering up the courage to take a step in a new direction. And you are now 89 years old and your soul has been dead a long time. You never got to travel. You never got to find a space where your gifts were actually being used. You never really felt heard or valued for the work that you did. You were just going through the motions to pay some bills. Imagine you're 89 and your grandchildren are sitting at your feet and they're saying, Grandma, Grandpa, give me some wisdom. If you have life wisdom for me, what is it? And you, sitting in your rocking chair, have been burnt, beat up, disappointed so many times, you just don't even have anything to give. So on a count of 3, I want to hear from you. What would that sound like? 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's what it would sound like. Let's try again. No. We don't want to be here anymore. You guys, so many of you signed up for this course because you do not want to be here anymore. You don't. You know that there's life on the other side of your comfort zone. You just need support to get there, as we all do, right? Because you don't want to be 89 years old, wishing, regretting, feeling like you really didn't live up to the purpose that God has for you. Ugh, we don't want to be here anymore. Sometimes we got to shake up here to have the courage to take a step. So let's talk about there. There is a vision of your future that produces passion. There's your next goal. Now remember, there is not an end game. It's not like a finish line necessarily. It's just progress. It's movement. It's your next step. A personal vision is when you wake up in the morning and you're so stinking excited about where you're going. And the mailman's here. I'm going to wait a minute. Can you hear my puppies? Probably. Thank you, mailman, for bringing me something that I probably ordered. All right. So, okay, you're good, puppies. You're good. Okay, so personal vision. Personal vision. A lot of the exercises that we're going to do throughout our time together is going to be clarifying your personal vision, a vision of your future that you get excited about. That's what we're here to do. And remember, it produces passion. So not only is it clarity for where you want to go, but it produces passion because you're stinking excited about it, right? All right. So I want you to imagine your life, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 is like your dream life. 10 is thriving relationships. 10 is feeling energetic and being at your ideal weight. 10 is having a healthy, fit lifestyle that you feel like it's intentional, but it's easy to fulfill because it's all your habits, right? There is being able to travel when you want to, having freedom of time, having great relationships with your family, having a job that you feel connected with, that connects with your passions. There is your dream life. And you probably had to take a few steps out of your comfort zone, out of here, through the mud to get to there. But because you did, you learned so much along the way. You broke through your own personal glass ceiling. And even if it's not a straight line, you are proud of yourself for doing so. Now imagine you're 89 years old and you've lived a good stinking life. You know, like you look back at all the experiences you've had, the people you've poured into, the chances you took, the risks you took, the ones that paid off, the ones you learned your lesson, and you feel proud of yourself and the life that you've created. And you have children, like grandchildren all around you, and they're saying, Grandma, Grandpa, give me some life wisdom. Tell me, what would you say about life? Like, give me some of your wisdom. And your heart is full. And it's full of peace and joy. And your grandchildren want to be around you because you exude that for them. And you sit in your rocking chair and you just have a big smile on your face and in your heart because you know you have wisdom to share. I want to hear from you. What does that sound like? Your Dream 10 life. 3, 2, 1, go. Woohoo! Yay! We did it! All right. I love that. And remember, the reason that we do that is because it's not just about seeing yourself 3 steps ahead, it's about being emotionally connected and excited about getting there. But let's be honest, if it were easy, we would already be living our dream lives, right? There are lots of reasons why we are not. And that's what we'll talk about next. But before we do, I want to hear from you. In the workbook, you're going to be able to rate your 7 areas of life right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to identify your current here. So finances on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being like, not good. I don't want to be here anymore. 10 being your dream life. Family, friendships, business, health, hobbies, giving back. If you don't have a business, obviously that's your job. So your career, hobbies would just be things you do for fun that fill you up, quiet time, journaling, knitting, whatever the case may be. Take a look and rate the 7 areas of life on a scale of 1 to 10. Currently, right now, you're here. And then we're going to address this again at the end because I want to really be able to see how you're making progress throughout this course. So you can take a minute to do that. When I do this exercise all around the world, you guys, I find that most people would rate themselves an average of a 4. A 4. A 4. I know. And what happens when we're a 4 is that's our friends are 4s. And the conversation at lunch is a 4. And a 10 feels so far away and only for those few lucky people that it doesn't even seem like something we can make progress towards. And so we don't even try. We just don't even think it's possible. But I'm here to tell you that I do believe it's possible. And I do believe that you can live a Dream 10 life. But there's things that get in the way. And so let's talk about those next. All right, so life. Life gets in the way from getting us from where we are now to where we want to be. All right, some of those things are fear. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of what if it doesn't work, fear of what will people think, fear of rejection. Holy cow, like we could do a whole lesson just on fear. Fear gets in the way from us taking that step outside of here and into the journey piece of this puzzle. But what I've learned about fear, this is so interesting because I experience fear myself. Even when we hit the tippity top of our network marketing company, I had fear. And what I learned in this process is that fear doesn't go away. It doesn't. No, the goal is not to get rid of fear. The goal is not to listen to fear. So the fear is there. I had fear when I wrote my book. It's vulnerable. I'm scared to put my heart on my sleeve. What if people don't like it? What if they think it's stupid? All these things. You do it anyway. You do it anyway. So the goal is not to get rid of fear. The goal is to not listen to fear because fear is a part of life. Let's see, comparison game. This one's huge, right? Looking left, looking right, looking at other people, seeing what they're doing, wishing we had them. Jealousy. Comparison means we often wish we were like somebody else, or we wish that we were, other people are better than us. Jealousy means that we're not good enough. And so what I have found with these is that if I'm feeling a tinge of jealousy, maybe I see somebody's fit and I'm not, or and I'm jealous of that. I had this actually when my friend started a podcast and I was like, I've been wanting to start a podcast for a long time. I was jealous that she took action on it and I didn't. So what I learned is that if I feel a tinge of jealousy, it really means that someone else is making something a priority and I'm not, and I want to be. So it is a reminder to me to take a look at my priorities and put new things on the calendar. I hear this a lot, clarity. I don't even know what I want, right? All I know is I don't want to be here anymore. How many of you have said that? All I know is I don't want to be here, but I don't really know what I want. So how can I ever go get it? Focus, split focus. Again, we're going to talk about this in goal setting, but when you have too many plates in the air, nothing gets done. Focus versus multitasking, hands down. Mindfulness versus multitasking, hands down, always for the win. So we are going to make progress, but we're not going to make progress on everything at the same time. We are going to pick one to truly focus on. Limiting beliefs. This is our own glass ceiling, you guys, and we're going to really bust through that over our 12 weeks together as we reprogram our subconscious programming that is kind of keeping us stuck. Guilt and resentment, again, emotions that honestly have nothing to do with your current goal are impacting your current goal. They are, even if you don't quite realize it. Whether your goal is health or business or relationships or whatever, if you're hanging on to stuff from the past, whether it's personal guilt or resentment and anger towards someone else, it's impacting your ability to grow. So we're going to talk all about that. Time and energy. This is huge. I often have people say, I don't have time to X, Y, and Z. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to work my business. I don't have time to go on date night. But here's what I find. It's really less about the time and it's more about the energy. So when they get home from work, or when you get home from work, or whatever the case may be, a full day with the kiddos, we're tired. We're exhausted. I don't have energy to work my business. I don't have energy to go work out. I'm tired. I just want to veg out with Netflix because I believe that is going to refuel me. Have you ever thought that? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm like totally have my own Netflix binge days. But what I find is that if you go work out, that will give you energy. When you work your business, that will give you energy because you're making progress in the direction you desire. So often it's less time and it's more energy that we're feeling like we're lacking in, when really the things that will give us energy are the things that are taking us in the direction that we want to go. Relationship struggles, you guys, it is very difficult to live in the world of dreams if you live in the world of drama. Relationship struggles, miscommunication, unmet expectations, substance abuse, all that kind of stuff, like impacts our ability to dream and take action because we're stuck here in this drama-filled land. And what's interesting about this is that this drama can be addicting. It can be our new normal. And so often if things are stable, we create drama because that's what we know and understand as being normal. We're going to talk all about this in self-sabotage. All right. So, and then the how. Like sometimes we really just don't know skills. For example, if you're new in business and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, you need to learn sales and marketing and, how to take good pictures, that kind of thing. Like sometimes you do need to learn tutorials and look stuff up on YouTube and Google and figure it out. Like I didn't know how to write a book until I wrote a book. So I had to Google, how do I write a book? Who can help me? That kind of thing. I would not do a bodybuilding competition on my own because I love brownies, but I would find a coach to teach me how, that kind of thing. And so sometimes we do need to learn skills and we can look it up ourselves or hire help to take us in that direction. So question, what do you think is the hardest part of this whole journey? Is it here, taking a step outside our comfort zone? Is it there, seeing that goal and working towards it? Or is it the journey? It's the journey. It's the journey. As soon as things get tough, we resort back to what we understand. And so that's why this program is 3 layers. I say layers because we're like doing it all at the same time. We are going to get so stinking clear for what you want next that you are excited about it. We are going to level up your normal. So when, not if, but when you default back to old patterns, it's a pattern that's taking you somewhere. You know what I mean? Like when you default back, if it's McDonald's, that's going to take you in one direction. If you default back to almond flour, black bean brownies, That's taking you in a different direction. So we're always going to default back to what we believe is normal, what's easiest, our habits, that kind of thing. But we can level that up so that our habits and our normal is actually where we want to go. And then we're also going to learn skills to manage the things that come along the way, because life still does happen to all of us. All of us. I have had to use my own skills myself a lot. Brennan will be like, why don't you read your book? Like, we all have this stuff come up. Nobody's life is perfect. We all have relationship struggles and self-doubt and all these things. And so the goal, again, isn't to get rid of that. The goal is to manage it and walk through it more successfully. Are you ready? Awesome. All right. So what happens when you don't have these skills, when you don't manage life successfully? Oftentimes we're letting life happen to us. This is the victim thinking. This is really external control, meaning if they did something different, I would feel better. If my boss wasn't so mean, I would feel better. If my relationships were better, then I would feel better. If whatever it is, right? We let life happen to us because we have this external control and we don't quite realize how much power we do have. And then nothing ever changes because we're waiting for something else to change before we change. And then our habitual thoughts end up being victim thinking. But not anymore, because you guys have decided you don't want to be here anymore, and you're going to learn the skills to successfully manage and navigate through the journey so you can hit your goal every single time. I believe that you can live a Dream 10 life in all areas of your life. You can. Now remember, success is different for everyone. There is no one definition for success. But what I do believe is that you can live your dream life, your 10, in all areas of your life at the same time. I believe it. You do not have to sacrifice your family for your business. You do not have to sacrifice your health for your family. You do not have to give up all your hobbies for your kids. You really can thrive in all areas of life. And this first skill I'm going to teach you is one way, like one how, right, to navigate that. And that is to take 100% responsibility for all areas of your life. What would life look like if you were 1% more responsible? Meaning, instead of external thinking, external, like they are responsible for my emotions. What if you took 1% more responsibility for your health, or 1% more responsibility for your finances, 1% more responsibility for your relationships? What if you were 100% responsible for all aspects of your life? What if? What if? And what I find when I give myself the responsibility for all aspects of my life, whether I like it or not, is it gives me back the power to make a change. And if I don't like something, right, there's 3 ways to solve a problem. You accept it, you change it, you stay miserable. I'm going to say that louder for the friend in the back. There are 3 ways to solve a problem. Accept it, change it, stay miserable. And because I don't want to stay miserable, I am either going to accept or I'm going to change. And if I choose to stay, or if I choose to accept, then I no longer can choose to be grouchy, right? And if I find myself being grouchy, then that means I need to make a change. We're gonna keep, there's a whole rabbit trail there. We're going to keep talking about that. But let's first just start by saying, all right, you're here because you want to take responsibility, because you want to make that change. And let's just pretend that you can take 1% more responsibility in all aspects of your life. What would that truly look like? This is a part of your workbook. I want you to spend some time here and saying, all right, what would it look like if I took 1% more responsibility for all these different areas in your life, and what that could really look like in your physical world? All right, I've got one video before we go into the goal setting aspect of this program. Oh, I just love this video. And this is a yoga teacher, Tao, is that her name? And she took 100% responsibility for her life. The good, the bad, the ugly. Here's her story.
I'm 99 years old. I'm the oldest yoga teacher in the world. I have so much to do in life, so I don't intend to waste it. My whole idea in life was nothing was impossible. There was no such thing as age. I was 19 when I started teach yoga. At the end of the war, I became a model. I was voted the girl with the longest legs in Europe. When I got to Hollywood, I was in several films, quite a few, and then I started to write and direct. I haven't stopped dancing. About 25 years ago, I had a bad fall. They said, you won't be able to do this, and you won't be able to do that. I said, I don't believe in that. A hip replacement may be a little bit not as good as before, but I have no intention of giving up. I'm going to be 100, and I'm still going to be teaching yoga at 100. Never give in when you believe in something that you can do to help people in life. And just know that nothing's impossible. Beauty comes from a smile, I think. As you look in the eyes of someone and see them twinkling, that's beautiful. Smile at the world, it will smile back at you.
Presentation here. All right. Thanks for hanging in with me. This one's probably a little bit longer than the others because I want to give you the whole framework and then we'll go step by step through it. But as you know, one of your daily challenges, as you're drinking water, you are doing your journal, the hypnosis every day, and exercising a few times a week is to take action in one area of your life. And we call that your dream life goal. Now, this goal that you're going to set for yourself is not something that's far away. Like, I want you to choose something that you can make progress in the next 3 months. All right. And so that's what I want you to really hone in on and focus on to this week is to decide and identify what your 3-month goal is going to be. And so what we do is we choose one area of your life. It can be business, it could be health. I know several of you are like, I just need to find myself again. Maybe yours is hobbies. You know what I mean? You're like, I need to what lights me up? Like, I got to put fun stuff on my calendar. Whatever it is, there's no right or wrong here. It's just figuring out. I would choose something either that domino effects and impacts the other aspects of your life, or maybe something you feel like you can make the most progress in. Some of you have said, I just got to get my house in order. So maybe that's your goal for the next 3 months. And every week we choose a place for you to organize, either one that's going to kind of be the easiest for you to see progress in. It's kind of like the Dave Ramsey snowball approach to debt, see progress, or the one that's going to domino effect and impact all other areas. Remember, I did not go black diamond in my business and do a bodybuilding competition the same year. No, I didn't start my podcast and write a book at the same time. I did one until it created momentum and was on habit, like autopilot, and then I could start another thing, right? So you're going to make progress in all areas, but we're going to focus on one. So pick one. We're going to create a 90-day SMART goal. So this is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So at the end of 90 days, which would be the end of the 3 months, what do you want to see different in your life? How do you want to experience life differently? Specific means that it's not broad. Remember, these goals are setting your internal GPS. And so you want to be as specific as possible. It's not just make more money. It's like make $10,000 or pay off $10,000 of debt or earn, $500 extra a month. It's specific. It's measurable. We want to be able to say yes or no, I did or did not hit this goal, right? So my goal is to lose 10 pounds. I will weigh this much in 90 days, whatever it is. We want it to be specific and clear. We want it to be achievable. And the reason for that is because you want to believe it. If you have a goal that's too far away and you immediately go, yeah, right. You're not excited about it. You're not going to go for it. You're not going to do the effort because you don't really think it's possible. So it's got to be achievable. You want it to be relevant to you. Again, that's that emotional connection and time bound. So you've got that time frame to really focus on. That creates urgency, and that helps you to say, all right, in 3 months I can have a brownie, but right now I'm staying clean, that kind of thing. So focus on, pick your area of life and then decide what goal you have. This is called your dream life goal. And every week I'm going to ask you, what is one thing you can do for your dream life goal this week? And then every week we're going to ask you. So we're have the daily challenges, and then you have your own personal specific goal that you are going to be working on. And then what we do, you guys, and again, we're going to get more into this down the line, but I want to give you an idea here that once we set a goal, then we get to reprioritize our calendar. What I find people do is they say, I have a goal of losing weight, but I don't have any time to go to the gym. And you make time. You got to put it in your calendar. If your goal is to lose weight and be healthy or whatever it is, put meal planning and gym time on your calendar. If your goal is to build your business, put business on your calendar. If your goal is to have healthier relationships, put communication, date night on your calendar. It's got to be on your calendar or it won't get done. I thought about my book for a year, and I was like, in my spare time, I will write a book. Doesn't happen. It only happened when I put it on my calendar and I created support around it. And I had a mastermind group I met with once a month, and I had to tell them, yes, I did it. It makes such a big difference. So put the things on your calendar, be as detailed as possible, put the action items for your goal on your calendar. The reality is that your calendar dictates your life. Guess who dictates your calendar? You do. Okay. Another thing to think about is, I have this in the group. So this is another way that you can kind of break down your day, half hour by half hour, and make sure that everything is in your calendar that you want to be there. Another thing to think about is ranking your actions. So again, we're going to go into this in a bit more detail down the line, but not everything needs to be done, and not everything needs to be done by you. So one thing that I recommend is taking a look at where you're spending your time right now and what things need to be you and what things could be outsourced and what things could be put on the back burner. For example, Brandon and I, we were playing volleyball in a volleyball league. Brandon was playing basketball in a men's basketball league. I was a youth group leader at my church when we started our home-based business. And within a year, we had to cancel all that stuff because we said, you know what, right now it's most important that we put time and energy towards this business because we felt like this could take us somewhere. And so we said no to those things and we set new priorities so we could focus on our business. So just know some things you may have to say, now is not a great time. Some things you may say, this doesn't need to be me. I would rather pay $100 to have someone clean my house once a month than spend 8 hours doing it myself, whatever it is, right? This is where you get to reprioritize your current calendar and be sure that your current dream life goal action items are on your calendar. All right. So this is the end of week 1's training. For the next several days, I guess week, we're going to meet again in a few days for our live group call, but I want you to spend time putting your daily challenges on the calendar. Spend time doing your week 1 exercises. And then we have our Thursday call at 9 p.m. Eastern to go over those exercises, to answer any questions that you have, and hold you accountable to your daily challenges and your dream life action. The affirmation for this week is I commit to being my best. I commit to being my best. I challenge us all to put that everywhere this week. Put it on your mirror, put it on your phone wallpaper, put it on in your car, in your office, wherever it is, to remind yourself that you commit to being your best. It is your turn for a U-turn, my friends, and I can't wait to see you next week. Have a great day.